the record button.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
Now recording.
Wonderful. Yeah, guys, we changed the link. We found that the link, the previous link that we had was just sent out to everybody randomly. I don't know who does that, and please keep all our information private and don't send these links out to people that don't need them. You know, we don't want other people to know what we know. You know, typical example, and we'll get into that now, is this drop. You know that you know, those people that manipulate the world crypto markets, whoever they are, and it can be different groups, not necessarily just one group. If they know that we know that the market is going to drop, then you know it can change the path of any crypto. So we need to keep these things really, really private.
Yep.
But Tertius, I've got my Litecoin shirt on this morning.
Awesome.
Litecoin.
Yeah, for some reason my camera decided it was not going to work this evening. So, well, whatever. Technology is fantastic while it works.
You've got such a nice face now. We can't even see you.
Oh, but you can look at me and my wife, eh? We're on the profile picture together.
I see. It's such a nice photo there of you and your wife. You know, very nice.
Oh, thanks, Morris. Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for everybody saying how's it. Dunisani, Julian, Irene, TBC. Welcome guys. Looking forward to this evening. Morris, we've just gone over the 200 people on the call this evening, eh?
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. There we go. 204, 5. Yeah. Where are we standing with Python signals now? I think it's number 6,000 now.
Something like that, eh?
Yeah, but many people have got double accounts, and it's always difficult, guys. You know, we do recommend maybe 1 or 2 accounts, but you know, don't sign up for 6 or 7 accounts. You can't handle it. You know, build one big business in Python signals. If I show you the income, Tertius, what people are making, you know, there is. I had a look in this week 2 days ago. The combined income so far, there's units that have made $70,000 from 70,000, huge amount, 50, a lot of 50,000s. And most of those people just recently came in. And then there's just numerous accounts there that are making money, guys. It's really important that you refer this service to friends and family. Imagine how much people could have saved if they knew about a Bitcoin drop, and not necessarily the money that they save, but just taking that fear away. Taking the fear away is worth $50 a month. It really is.
Absolutely.
Okay, Tertius, I think we need to get into it, and I'm quickly going to get into Litecoin. I'm not going to talk much about all the cryptos. I really want to get into answering a lot more questions that people have. So let's quickly have a look here at Litecoin. You can see that here from 16 July, you know, it went up. That dark blue or dark purple line is the algorithm cycle that it gives us. Now, guys, the way how we get the data is a complex set of rules within our algorithm based upon historical data. Combined with Apple, Microsoft Gold and Silver, and then our system kicks this data out. And you've probably realized that our algorithm data is getting better and better because it's got an artificial intelligence built into it that rectifies problems and rectifies mistakes that it has, and it gets better. And we will never ever be able to, for example, remember here in Litecoin where we said we expect about $113. I think it was actually a little bit higher, maybe about 120. But nonetheless, this market went up here to about 108. So it's about a, what's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $6 difference. So we will never ever get that 100% where we say that it will definitely hit that number. And this is why I always talk when we do these algorithm analysis, where I say the top of the cycle will be a certain amount, give or take, $10 here or there, $15 here or there. So don't get fixated too much on the price. But you can see here that we said that we're going to go into a high point here. It's going to then come down and then go sideways and then drop. And here, Tertius is actually a typical example. You can see here that our high point there is about 95, where the point here is about $90, and it's a $5 difference. And I did answer a few questions here over this weekend via emails where people say, but you said it's going to be 95 and it only went to $90. Guys, we you know, we can't be that accurate. You know, we say that every single time. We're not day traders, we look at the trend. Think about this now, guys. Remember, we said that we are going to go upwards here and then sideways. It's kind of like sideways. Look at the viewpoint. Zoom out a little bit and then have a look at the zoom point. And then you'll see that we had this drop here and we're now into that level there. I do believe, and I'm just going to zoom in here, that we could perhaps go a little bit lower here. Remember what I said, that I placed my buy orders under $60. A huge amount of buy orders, guys, for Litecoin. Now, whether we drop to that low point under $60, if it does happen, is good. But if it doesn't, and we only reach about $70, which it already did, about $76, no, 71. If it goes a little bit lower below that, fine. If it doesn't, and it goes up from here, that's also good. The point is also this heartbeat has started. You can see from that top there to this low point here, that's already the first leg of the heartbeat. But I do expect it to come down slightly. When we come down here, we're going to see a big reversal upwards, a very fast reversal, a bit of a slowdown here, and then up into this level here. I expect about 120, 128. We're going to then have another drop, which will complete the heartbeat of Litecoin. If this heartbeat plays out, guys, I can tell you then with a certainty, this will be 1,000% coin. The money that you will make will blow your subscription away. And then at that point, you can buy 20 subscriptions. Now, I'm just kidding, guys. Don't do it. It's just a joke, Tertius. Don't buy 20 subscriptions. Take the money, reinvest it, and pay off your debt and go and make more money. We want you to make money. Now, at this point here, we are going to see here at that point here, I expect it's closer to about 9 September, that we are going to have a turn upwards. It's going to be a fake breakout. Then it's going to come down, and then we're off to the races. Now, the breakout is expected to start here between 9 and 12 September. So there's a little bit more patience, guys, to go. First, a little bit more downwards momentum, upwards here. I expect this can play out over the weekend, Tertius, you know.
Yeah.
So if you look then at Ethereum, Ethereum is nothing different here. You can see here that blue line is the algorithm line that we just drew in. And it came down all the way here, dropped here. I do expect it's going to drop a little bit further into, that line has just moved. It should have been about there. But it could go into as low as 150. My target, don't be surprised if we hit 119. Because remember, disbelief is not finished, in my opinion. But nonetheless, if it comes down to that bottom, great buying opportunity. Again, guys, Ethereum is going to break out first. When it comes back up, it's going to come down a little bit. It's going to look like it's going to break down again. And a lot of people are going to sell here. I tell you now, guys, a lot of people are going to sell, like what you see now. We here at Python Signals are the only people that are buying. We are buying. All our members around the world are starting to buy. I was just on a call earlier, about 40 minutes ago, with people in America that are also part of our larger groups, and they're buying like crazy. They can't get enough money into the crypto system. Now, whether you buy at that level there or you buy lower, it's immaterial, guys, because 186 towards maybe 150, we don't know if that drop is a certainty. So you ladder in your buys. If you've got 10,000, you take $1,000 and you buy. and you wait. If it drops further, you buy $1,000 again. Drops further, you buy $1,000 again. And what I can tell you is there is a possibility. See this blue channel here. If we drop below this blue channel, man, you can buy with ease. You simply buy, buy, buy. So the market could drop down to about 119. That is the algorithm lowest point. Not to say that it will hit that. Just understand me correct, guys. We sometimes give you the lowest figure so that you have an idea that it could go below 50. It could hit 119. I like to play on the lowest level. That is, I just love that. You know, not to say that it will do that, but I do expect it. Doesn't look to me like Ethereum has gone low enough. And then obviously we can have this breakout here. Ethereum breaks out, and from there onwards is going to be the first coin that goes up and makes 1,000% plus gain. So just be a little bit patient. Bitcoin Cash exactly the same. I do expect Bitcoin Cash to come down slightly. And you can see here we've got this A, B, C correction. And we can possibly come down to this level here of between 240 and 177. Again, guys, this coin, according to my own data, and I've done this over and over again, could potentially go up 1,000% as well. The other coin, let's quickly get into EOS. You can see here last week we said that we expect this level here of $3, maybe a little bit lower, and that the market will go like this, come down and then up. I do expect maybe one more lower low. It went as low as 3.3, but it could go down to about 3. Not a buy yet. If you want to add on to your positions, just sit and wait today and tomorrow, and we'll see what the market does. NEO, remember we drew this channel here and we said that NEO must go lower than B. And it could be that NEO perhaps is that the low is in, but I would probably just wait and see if it doesn't drop a little bit further. And I'm going to show you guys now why. Let's quickly go to DigiByte. DigiByte has still got a little bit of downwards momentum. See this red line here? That is the red line that we drew weeks and weeks ago, even when DigiByte was at this higher point here. We said that it must come down to this red line. It touched that red line. It could go slightly lower here. See that point there? It could perhaps maybe drop just below that. That is a possibility as well. But you can see, Tertius, we're becoming, it's very small, the drops now. Whether you buy now or later, it's immaterial, because look at this. There's 1,000%, guys, 1,000% gain coming. The high of Bitcoin is more or less at this point here. And then XRP as well. Remember this, there's a tweet that I tweeted out about a week or 2 weeks ago, and I said, don't buy XRP yet. And now most of you guys know that you guys knew that XRP is still poised to drop, and we said it could even go lower. Remember, lower than this 15 August 2018 low point, and lo and behold, it did. It could be that XRP has got a low in. It can come back and retest that again. It could maybe go down to 21 cents. But nonetheless, guys, XRP is now becoming a good buy. What is going to happen with XRP? It's going to have a big, strong move upwards to this point here. Then it's going to come back with a double drop. At that point there, that is where I would like to buy. Because remember, this uptrend here and then a double drop, the one drop there, the one drop there, will be a confirmed uptrend. And when the market turns around there, that's when you buy. Now you know it's a confirmed uptrend, but taking into account as well what is happening with Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. You have to take that into account. Now let's come to Bitcoin, the naughty boy, really. Believe it or not, guys, but Bitcoin is fully on track. There is no problem here, although it broke down here from our algorithm. Here's our algorithm, the purple line. We expected that to go sideways and then have a bit of a move upwards here, which is Y. Now we've already completed X. X is done. This drop here, I believe, is just induced. Now we follow Coinbase. There's a few wallets on Coinbase, about 17 or 18 wallets on Coinbase. These are wallets that they use to drop Bitcoin and to keep the price of Bitcoin down. Whoever they are, we can't figure out who they are. Now, remember I tweeted and I said, or sorry, last week we said that somewhere around this point here, let me just put a box there. Most of you can remember last week that we said that somewhere around this area is that we see a big drop coming, and we just couldn't lay our fingers on when it was going to happen. Now, what happened is that I tweeted out and said that the drop is not going to happen. Now, with a drop, remember last week what we said, I'm not talking about this little drop. That is little, guys. That is not even a drop. That is just a correction coming back. And you're going to see the market will come back strongly, especially Bitcoin. But with a drop last week, if you can recall, we said if it drops, it'll drop big. It will come back into this channel here. See this channel here? Let me just make that channel a little bit larger. That it could come back and test this level here, which is that, see that pink line there? It'll come back and test that. And what we did is we saw in Coinbase that these wallets were pre-inputting their sell orders because they plan it in advance. They don't just come here today and say, oh, we're going to drop the market today. It doesn't work like that. They plan it in advance. So what they did is they placed a huge number of sell orders at below from about 11,000, and then they staggered them like 5 Bitcoin at 11, 5 Bitcoin at 10.9, 5 Bitcoin at, at different intervals. And if I say 5 Bitcoin, I mean 5 lots. Like in a minute, they can sell like 5 Bitcoin every 10 seconds in that minute at that price. So when we see them set up those orders in Coinbase, and we've got a way that we can get in and see that, because you can see it on a preemptive program that will show you what are the pre-orders that people are putting in to sell. And you can see a basic version of that in any exchange, where you see what are the sell orders, what are the buy orders. So when we see those orders, it's a bunch of orders. That's when I came out and said, just be very careful. But what happened is those orders were removed. The strange thing is, as soon as Epstein, you guys know who Epstein is, the guy who was in jail and got, we believe, some people believe he was murdered in jail. Some people say he hung himself. But Epstein is this criminal or child sex trafficker, molester, who was in jail. As soon as he died, bang, all those orders got removed. And I don't know if this is correlated, but we're trying to find out how it is correlated. And I really believe it is, because there are people in the government of the USA, and let's call them the shadow government, the black government, whoever they are, but they do dealings in the shade, in the dark, in rooms that we don't know. Guys, it may not be news for you, but those people hate Bitcoin. I don't like to use the word hate. I like to use the word dislike. But in this case, I must use the word hate. They hate you making money. They hate Bitcoin. They hate anything where people like us, the blue-collar worker, the normal guy in the street, make money. You have to understand this and just grasp this concept. And now, those orders were removed. But this drop that happened has got to do with the SEC not giving approval for an ETF. Remember now, they've been pushing this now since 2017. 2018 is now the 3rd year. They don't want to give approval. Why do you think do they not give us approval? Because they don't want you to make money. You look at America and all those American people on this call now today. How difficult is it in America to trade? Extremely difficult. Binance got stopped out in America. Exchanges are making it difficult for Americans to get online. The news in America is negative. But guys, for those American people on this call, worldwide adoption is happening at an alarming fast rate. From Russia to China to Hong Kong to Africa. Gosh, man, you need to see what is happening in West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria. Guys, those people are blowing up cryptocurrencies. The whole entire world is getting onto cryptos, but they're making it difficult for Americans. Why? Because America is a population of 350, almost 400 million people. And if there's word on the street that Americans are adopting cryptos, the whole world will do it. So we just need to understand those concepts. So this drop, although the orders were removed and the elite, if we call them that, were not going to drop Bitcoin, the SEC approval or non-approval was a culprit in starting this drop. But this is not a big problem here. If you hold your Bitcoin, it's still the safest to hold. You can simply just hold. I haven't sold any Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, I added 2 positions as soon as we got here to 9.8, I think. So sorry, let me just mute everybody there. Hey guys, if you just got onto the call as well, just mute yourself. Now, what we are going to see here is a move upwards, as I showed in the video yesterday. Let me just make this one darker. This was the one that we did yesterday. Let me just make that a different color. So you can see something like this. I'll just make it red. See that red move here? You're going to see a strong move upwards here over the next day or two. Could slightly come down, maybe slightly. And then we're going to follow that same pattern again. Now that same pattern is going to be this y-axis. See this y? It's going to follow that pattern. It's a move upwards to about this level here of 14,000. It's going to go sideways a little bit here at 13, 14,000. And then the last move is this Z move, which I'll probably put on that side. And let's move this one also to this side. So that Z move is going to be a big, strong move. You really want to stay in Bitcoin. You don't need to get out of Bitcoin. And it'll take Bitcoin up to about probably a little bit lower to about 17,000 first because of this drop. This drop will actually make this high point a little bit lower. Instead of 19 to 20K, about 17 to 19K. But it could still break the all-time high. If we don't break the all-time high now here before this 53-day algorithm ends, then we are going to do it a little bit later here. Now remember this on the previous webinars. Let me just bring this in. We did point and we said that there's going to be an uptrend here, then the market is going to drop. And remember guys, it's going to come back most likely to 13 or 14,000. And then it goes up again. And then it breaks that all-time high. More on this a little bit later. Let's first get out of this low point here, go up sideways and upwards. So that's just a quick overview for Bitcoin. What I also want to show you, and just interrupt me if there's questions, Tertius, but I want to show you guys this big indicator. Now, this is Bitcoin as well. All I've done, I've taken this chart here. Let me just make that smaller. Man, this trading view. Okay, anyway, so I've taken this chart here and I've taken everything out and I left it like a bare chart. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 3 indicators that are like the 3 musketeers. And remember a while ago I posted and I said the 3 musketeers, there's a picture of the 3 musketeers in one of the blog posts. I was leading up to what's going to happen here. There's your first musketeer there. Your second musketeer and your third musketeer is that one there. Now, when that line crosses, and it's going to cross over this weekend, and that one will go like this and then go up. Guys, this is a great indicator. You know, fantastic. This happened last time in 2017 when Bitcoin boomed. When Bitcoin boomed, this is what happened last time. And you can't break this down because this is going to go upwards here. That is going to go moderate upwards and then cross the Python y-axis again. So you can have these 4, the 3 musketeers and the cardinal, probably running up. And then these 2, the pink line here and that green line there, is going to follow this pattern here, that one there. You can have these 3 then following upwards. And I can show you what happens after this, but we won't get there yet. Otherwise, you know, we'll just keep this information here. Now you can see that this will go, it could drop a little bit further, which is not a major issue. As a matter of fact, it could drop very low, but I don't believe it's going to drop here below this point here, that point which is 9,000. It can't. And I'll show you now why. But I believe it's going to go upwards here. Bitcoin is still a safe coin. It could be that Bitcoin moves upwards, and you can see here that Bitcoin is now strongly moved upwards, but the altcoins doesn't, you know. See here with Litecoin, it's barely moved. You can see here with Ethereum, it's barely moved. Bitcoin Cash, I think, is a little bit up following there. But you can see that Bitcoin has the potential to move a lot stronger and higher and faster. And one of the other indicators that we were looking at is this inverted head and shoulders. If you look at that, that's a perfect inverted head and shoulders. And next comes a big spike upwards. And if you look at here, go to Forex trade, we use a lot of these kind of stuff, but this is what a inverse head and shoulders pattern means. It means that the market comes down. See, there's your one, your left shoulder, your head, and then your right shoulder. And what happens next is that it breaks out upwards and it goes up with that trend. And you can literally go to Google and just type in inverted head and shoulder pattern. And look at this one here, for example, you know, where the market came down here, your first shoulder, it goes up there, touch a red line, your head, there's your second shoulder. And what happens after that is that you have a nice strong move upwards. So look, Bitcoin is alive and well. A lot of people, and you've probably seen this, that people are posting all over Twitter now that Bitcoin is going to go to zero. Peter Schiff, the gold, I call him a gold hack. I mean, that guy constantly, what did he say yesterday about Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is just going to fail and go down to next to nothing? I mean, it's people that don't understand Bitcoin, Tertius.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's while you were talking about this now, there's been a bit of a discussion in the chat box about you know, the fact that Bitcoin is starting to move up again, but Litecoin is standing still. Litecoin is not moving, and so that, you know, the comments are, well, that's good for us, and some of the questions are, well, why is it good for us? And you've been talking about this for quite a while, Marius, that the coins are going to separate from each other and start moving on their own. You know, we've got the most people on to tonight's call live that we're almost 300 people. So perhaps just explain that, especially for the newer folks. You know, last year when we were talking about Bitcoin, everything was following Bitcoin. But we are at the point where we're expecting the coins to start separating from each other. And just give us a bit of background on that. I think, you know, that'll help a lot of folks understand what's going on.
Yeah, let's quickly get into that. Yeah. Okay, so for all the new people that came on board here, let's quickly have a look at this chart pattern here. You can see here on the bottom at 15 December 2018, that is where we called the low, and most of you were subscribers at that point, and we said that the risk-adverse investors can now get back in the market. As a matter of fact, we actually called the low at exactly at that point. The market went up and it came back and dropped a little bit more. So just remember, guys, we can't be 100% correct. And I'm just stating that, you know, for all those people who on Twitter, they like to hit you and say, yeah, but you make fail calls. Yeah, we do. You know, nobody is 100% correct, but nobody can do what we can do. Nobody is as accurate as what we are in the entire world. I just got interviewed by Fox News, and they are stunned. They're investigating how we get this data. The one guy asked me on Fox News, he said to me, are you from the future? Tell us true. And he was just joking. And I'm not saying we're from the future, but nobody can do this kind of work. I know it because we constantly research other people. They can't do it. So anyway, we called the low at that point. I actually bought at that point. It went up. I thought it's going to break out, and then it came down to this point here. And now we know that I'm not saying this is the low point. Just get me correct, you know. The market can still go lower, and we discussed that last week as well, guys. So we have to be vigilant here. We're not going to be just dumb and say, oh, that's the low point and Bitcoin is going to go up now. You always have to check yourself. What is happening here is crazy stuff. And we are doing the work for you. We'll protect you. But nonetheless, guys, from this low point here, you'll see that the market in Bitcoin moved upwards. Now, if I compare, for example, I think we can do this. Tertius, we can go and compare, for example, maybe LTC. Let's see LTC US dollar. Okay, can you guys see that at this point here, Litecoin, for example, followed a different path than Bitcoin. Bitcoin went up, and it went up 200%, but Litecoin, up to that high point there, went up 400%, 450. And this is what we mean with it's breaking the pattern of Bitcoin. Now it's following more or less. You can see this is up and down. But for example, here you can see that Litecoin is moving higher. This is the start right there at January, basically the new year 2019, where most altcoins are breaking away from Bitcoin. And you are going to see it a lot more here. See here, as we get into these levels here now, you can see that Litecoin underperformed Bitcoin. From this point here, if you moved your money out from Litecoin into Bitcoin, you would have been better off. And for those guys who are trading, we use this compare tool there. You can see that. Now, what you actually now want to be, you want to be out of Bitcoin and you want to be into Litecoin. Why? Because Litecoin is now going to outperform Bitcoin by far. Why? Because Bitcoin can go up to about 20,000, but Litecoin is going to outnumber Bitcoin. Now, this is what we say. You'll see that here's Litecoin now. That Litecoin is probably going to drop a little bit further while Bitcoin goes up. We are going to see Bitcoin go up, Litecoin go up. So in this case, it will follow that pattern most likely. And this is where we said that Bitcoin will most likely be 19 to 20K. Maybe a little bit lower, guys, 17 to 19,000, somewhere in that region. But $1,000 here or there doesn't matter. We're looking at the formation, the pattern. When the pattern plays out, we know there's big gains coming. So we will see a drop here, and at this point here, you are going to see that Litecoin and the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin again. Similar to this. You know, when we make it larger, it's going to be the same event that have taken place here, somewhere here in January, February, where Litecoin is going to break out upwards above Bitcoin, and Litecoin is expected then to follow its own path. Now, previously, guys, we could do a analysis. I know it's a little bit of a messy chart here, but just bear with me. Well, let's go to this one here and remove that. Previously, Tertius, we mentioned that last week as well. Previously, I could do a chart, and we could say that Bitcoin is going to come down, and then it's going to go up, and then we would say all altcoins will follow the same path as Bitcoin. And we wouldn't do analysis on the altcoins. These days, we can't do it anymore. And guys, this is why you will find that when you look at these videos on YouTube of all these analysts around the world, you'll notice that after you watch the third or fifth video, you're now totally confused. Because one guy says it's going to go up, the other guy says down. Nobody knows. They don't know about the divergence of these different altcoins. They still think that everything is running the same path. It's not doing that. It's following different pathways. And now, so we do expect Bitcoin to go up, Litecoin is going to go up, but at one point here, Bitcoin is going to drop as well, and altcoins and will simply just take their own form. The coins that I see that's going to take their own form is Bitcoin will be obviously the one that we're going to measure against, but then Litecoin is going to take its own form, and Ethereum is going to take its own form for the time being. And as we get into next week, or sorry, next month, I'm going to talk about Digibyte, and then I'm going to talk about XRP. XRP, for example, just that you guys know, it comes to a point here close to about 10 September. And in one day, it goes up 100%. And in another day, another 100%. And then suddenly 200%. And it carries on like this, guys, for 21 days. When that spike happens for 21 days in our algorithm data, it shows that it goes up and up and up and up. And it goes to this level here. Oh, there it is. I've done that here. So it goes up here, it goes sideways, and then up again for 21 days. And I forgot about that. We just need to, I'll go and review that again. Block 12. Okay, let me just make a note there. But guys, this is going to be one of the coins that we are going to play and make insane money. So you can see here that XRP is going to move away from Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going to do that. Now, if in saying that Bitcoin is not going to do that, guys, just remember that we still, I don't want to go to the entire high point here. We've got some other data here on the top, but Bitcoin is still going to go to 20,000, then 35,000, and then hit 80,000. Just for those new people that are on the call here.
Marius, one of the things that you also spoke about is you've given us some positions on where we expect Litecoin and Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash to be, NEO and EOS as well, when Bitcoin reaches its high of between 17 and 19. A lot of guys are asking questions, and I think, guys, we must remember that the information that Marius is sharing with us is so that we can take our own decisions. This is not it's not a prescriptive recipe. It's not something that we can say, do this or don't do that. You've got to take your own decisions. And it looks like at some stage, it may be worthwhile switching from Bitcoin to an Ethereum or a Litecoin or a mix. That's all part of your risk management process. So it wouldn't be fair to ask Marius, you know, what should we do here? What should we do there? Marius is showing us what we expect to happen with the coins. But, you know, just for the guys that haven't got that background, Marius, just explain to, you've shown the points, but explain the different strategies, because we can trade with 2 or 3 coins, or we can diversify to 4 or 5. We don't have to trade all of them. And I think there's a lot of new folk not sure on what they should be doing, especially the folks with maybe the smaller portfolios, and we haven't really defined what's a small portfolio. Although I suppose 1,000 to 10,000 is pretty small, and 100,000 is pretty big. But yeah, just to give the guys some guidance on what are the things to look for when diversifying out of Bitcoin into the alts again.
Yeah, let's quickly go. So just summarize that question in short, Tertius.
When we are expecting Bitcoin to reach a high of between 17 and 19, or on the chart there we say 19 to 20K around.
Correct.
About.
Correct.
So at that same time, or just possibly just even before that, we're expecting Ethereum first, then Litecoin to reach a low point.
Correct.
Now, some people are saying, well, isn't a good strategy to put our crypto into Bitcoin, take advantage of the rise, and when Ethereum reaches its low, use some of the Bitcoin, buy back into Ethereum? But it's not that simple. It's a little bit more complex than that, because Bitcoin's not going to reach its highest point by the time that Ethereum reaches its lowest, although it will have reached the low and we will have a confirmed uptrend. Just to illustrate that dynamic, please.
Okay, right.
Marius.
Let's have a look here. I like to play at percentages. Now, we are here at Litecoin. So if we assume that the low point is here at $64, let's just move that up. I'm expecting a minimum on that, because you'll see, guys, here that I've got this algorithm support line, and I'm going to make it very thick so we can see this. See, it touches that point there, very distinct points here of 27 May, and then it touches this point here of 3 June. If you touch those points here, and you run it right down to the bottom of this 14 July. Now, don't worry if you don't understand this. These are just 3 algorithm points pointing a downwards trend, which we call an X quadrat factor. But don't worry if you don't understand it. That is just the support where Litecoin can come down to, and it could stab through that support. So I'm saying, let's say at 64, if we work it out mathematically now. Now this top level here, that top point there, is a little bit higher than what it should be, but I'm going to leave it as high there. And the reason is, if I put a parallel channel up here, you know, parallel with that blue line, this blue line here. Okay, I'm just going to do it like that. What we do find is that when the market returns here, is that Litecoin could potentially break out here upwards into that level there, as high as this level here of back to this 27 June line. Okay, this line here. So that is why I put this figure up here of 128, that high point there, is because it breaks out, it comes back, tests this support, and then it shoots up. Now, the reason I'm showing this is, okay, what is the percentage gain from here to there? Okay, this is what you need to do your own analysis here. So I'm going to take it here and go up to that point there. And you'll see that this gives me approximately 100%. Now remember, guys, go back now and remember about 2 months ago. Remember I said 2 months ago that we are going to come into Litecoin heartbeat. And that heartbeat is going to be 100% divergence from the bottom here right to that top. Now, let's minimize that and make it about 80. Okay, there you go, for about 80. That means that the low could be a little bit less there. It could be lower here, and this one here could be maybe lower as well. Maybe that point there. That'll give you around about 80%, just to be on the safe side now, 80% more or less. Now, let's go back and have a look at Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin expected to do? Now, Bitcoin, if we, okay, first of all, let's just go back here. This is what I say will be the high point for Bitcoin here. Okay, remember this point here now. I'm going to go back to Bitcoin now. I may have to go to this messy chart here. Let me just delete some stuff here. Move that aside. These charts can get messy very quickly. Now, let's say from this bottom point here, let's go and measure up and say, if we hit, I'm going to bring this down to 19666, because that's actually what the data shows. For some reason, it says, I just don't like the 666, but that's what the data says. So let's go and we say the price range from this bottom here, we want to calculate what is the percentage. So that percentage is right to that point also approximately 100%. Now, if you drop that back and we say we're going to be conservative, and let's say it's going to go to about 18,000, and here is the bottom point here, probably a little bit lower. Let's say about 17,000. So you still get into your 80%, your 80% gain. Now remember, Litecoin 80% on average minimum. Bitcoin around about 88%. Let's do one more. And the reason for me showing you this is to show you that you don't need to jump around at this moment between coins. Not when the market now has dropped. You should have done that maybe a few days ago or a week ago. Now, let's have a look at this one. Okay, Ethereum is, you can't really calculate Ethereum like that, because remember, Ethereum is going to drop and then it's going to go back upwards, and it keeps going. It doesn't stop. Now, Bitcoin Cash is the other one that could potentially also go up just 100%. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin Cash actually gets stopped by this Python y-axis before it drops. Let's have a look here. I'm going to assume that we are going to hit this green line here. So just a little bit more drop for Bitcoin Cash. So you can see here at this point here, we hit about 129. If we don't have this drop, look at what's happening. See, and normally that would come down slightly. So you can probably say around about this level here, 92%. So you can see here, Tertius, that all these coins now, as of today, they all are poised to double or at least go up 80%. You don't now, since the drop has already happened, you don't want to move your coins from Litecoin to Bitcoin, from Ethereum to Bitcoin, or from Bitcoin to Litecoin. You must just hold what you have. The ideal time would have been about a week ago that you sold maybe out of your coins. Like a week ago, I sold, when did I do that? Somewhere around here at about 92, 100. That's when I sold my Litecoin. Was that a week ago? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, a week ago as well as this week. So I sold a huge amount of Litecoin because I want to buy it back on the bottom. And those orders have not yet been triggered. I'm not sure if this answers the question, Tertius. You see, it's a little bit different than last week, guys. Everything changes. I wouldn't move any coins at the moment. You know, it's what I said to somebody else. You probably on the call today. We said you had about a 330,000. I won't mention who you are. 330,000 portfolio. From memory, about 10% Bitcoin and 7% Bitcoin and about 90% Litecoin. And he was asking me, shall he move the Litecoin to Bitcoin? And we did the analysis and we said, no, don't move it. Not now. So, and I said, keep your portfolio just like it is because you want to ride out the wave that is either going to drop Bitcoin and Litecoin a little bit further because it's going to move upwards and you want to take advantage of that upwards move. And that upwards move, guys, is going to happen within the next. I would probably say we could have a low today, maybe tomorrow, but within 3 days, we are going to see this uptrend and it goes back up again. Over to you, Tertius.
Yeah, I think, Marius, that definitely does answer the question. You know, I know folks are wanting to make the most of the gains that offer themselves. But guys, I hope that you're seeing also that it, you know, this analysis that Marius has now shown, it actually doesn't make a huge difference which of these three coins you're in, because each of them is gonna grow. And it requires some analysis and some following from you. We need to put our alarms in place, and we need to follow the coins that we're invested in, and not just rely on Marius to tell us, okay, it's time to get in, or it's time to get out, or it's time to move. Remember, what we're showing the guys here and what we're learning from Marius is more of a longer term play. So Marius, I think those are the most of the questions that the guys have been having. There's a couple of funny guys making jokes on the side here. What else? I saw one other thing. There was a question, the NEO projection that you had of $850. Are you expecting that within this current bull run, within this calendar year perhaps, or do you have a time frame on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get into that quickly now. Guys, also, if you are new, go and download the Top 40 Crypto Report of 24 July 2019. This is a great guideline to show you ultimately where coins are going and what the percentages are. We show the Python y-axis and all that kind of stuff. It's just a great snapshot for you to have. You know, just an overview. Now, but more important in this report here, if you go down to the bottom here, you are going to find the model portfolio here, 1.1. Now, we talk about the top 5 are the most important and should consist of 60 to 70% of your portfolio. Those coins are Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Digibyte, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin. These first 5 are in the order of importance. You can probably move Litecoin up and Ethereum down. They're the same. But Ethereum is going to break up first. And I give the targets here for the end of the year cycle, most likely 31 March in 2020. But I'm going to get into that now, Tertius, that you spoke about. And I just want to mention this. This could be extended with 3 months because we've been going sideways too long now, actually. So that pushes timelines on. Litecoin as well, around about 3,000 by end of the cycle. As a matter of fact, Litecoin, let me tell you guys this. Litecoin can make or can go to $3,000 by 24 December 2019. I get goosebumps, guys, if I just say this. hear me very clearly. If you want to make some good money, honestly, look at Litecoin, because Litecoin will make probably the fastest amount of money of any of these coins. Short term now. Remember, I'm only talking here of December. Guys, it's September, October, November, December. 4 months. It's going to happen, I tell you. We are the only people, or the first people actually in the world. Many people are now coming out and say, oh, Litecoin is going to go up 1,000%. But they don't know the real figure that we have, because I haven't put it out yet. But remember this, guys, 2 months ago, we came out and said that we see Litecoin going up 1,000%. It's not 1,000%, it's actually more. Now, this is going to break $3,000. Take your Litecoin now and times it by 3,000. How much do you have? Now, I don't want to ask you, Tertius, because you're going to tell me $1 billion.
Not yet, Maurice, not yet. We're on our way there.
But people are going to make insane money, guys. Think about this.
Yeah.
100 Litecoin. Some people may have 50 Litecoin. 50 times 3, that's a heck of a lot of money here. Okay? Yeah, it's enough.
Enough to pay off the credit card, eh?
Oh, gee, crazy money. And for all those people that are on the call that are from Brazil, that are from South America, Mexico, South Africa, in Africa, the US dollar, remember I'm talking of US dollar. Guys, this is huge money. Even in Australia, if you convert it, 3,000 is about 4,500 Australian dollars, maybe 5. You imagine 5,000 for one Litecoin. Guys, this is crazy stuff. This is what I see in our data. Now take head of this. NEO as well, guys, 800 to 850 target. Hold long term. There's no need to sell NEO. Guys, even if NEO goes down to $1, you watch. You're going to watch. You keep it. And you add to positions, and you add and add and add. NEO and EOS and BNB, of course, those are great coins to hold. And then a combination of WAX, AGI, Walton Coin, IOTA, and OMG. Any one of these 5 coins, guys, this is what we said in the beginning of the year, those 3 coins, WAX, AGI, Walton Coin, we said put between $500 and $1,000 in those coins and hold them. Because the reason I'm saying this, guys, any one of these coins can spike at any time now, and they will spike so fast. Don't be surprised if any of these coins, these 3, go up 1,000% or even 6,000% in a week or a month. Don't be surprised. Those are very good to keep in your portfolio, but don't over-invest in WAX, AGI, and Walton Coin. Put the most of your money in the top 5. Now, in saying this, let's have a look at the end of year cycle. And I'm going to show you something that we, okay, I'm not going to redraw this. This is something that I want you to think about. Year back in 2010 is when, and we've got all the data. As a matter of fact, guys, for the new people here on this call, we have got data. Remember that Bitcoin came out in what year? Many people will know this. If you go to Wikipedia, it may actually, yeah. Anyway, it was around about 2008. 2008, 2009. Is that right, Tertius?
Yeah, as far as I recall, yes.
Now, guys, we have got the data where Bitcoin was traded in privacy for 9 months before it was released. Now, I'm probably going to change everybody's thinking about, there was a guy in Hong Kong sitting in an apartment all on his own, developing Bitcoin, and then brought it out to the world, and it just worked perfectly. He didn't have to do any updates, didn't have to go and change it again. It just works. Guys, it's not like that, Bitcoin was planned a long time ago, before the financial crisis. I was sent the data from a private email address, a government email address. So that means they had to use a government server to send me the data. That email address doesn't exist anymore. You send back and it just says email doesn't exist. I've tried to follow it up. I can't get who sent it to me. Now, maybe it's bogus data, but it doesn't look to me like bogus data. It looks to me like truly traded because the patterns are the same as what's happening now. So that guy probably just wanted to expose it. So, and we can go one day, Tertius, we can go through that data there that we have. Is unbelievable if you look at the patterns there. Those patterns are the patterns that we also use to predict the future. But nonetheless, guys, Elliott wave works like this. You get 5 patterns. So let's go back and we say, we follow these patterns. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is your high point. Elliott wave states, it's a rule, that after your 5th wave, you get an ABC correction. Now there is your ABC correction, okay? Then after an ABC correction, we have another 5 waves, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then after 5, what happens? We have another ABC correction. What happens after the ABC correction? We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to get into this. Now, guess what, guys? This, according to Elliott wave, is your first leg. Remember, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This in total, this may blow some people out. This is your first leg. Then you have a big ABC correction. Then you go up your 3rd leg, you come back again, and it's just the same model that repeats itself here is going to repeat it on a larger scale. And guys, this is one of the ways how we get to Bitcoin 3.7 million. Not the only way. This just validates our data. Now let's remove the overhead one there and let's zoom in to where we are now. And I'm going to give you the date where we believe. See this date here on the bottom, 6 July 2020? We believe that that could perhaps be the high point for Bitcoin. So when I talk about end of year cycle, we've still got about 10 months to go. 9, 10, 11 months, more or less. And that's only more or less for the end of the year cycle. Now, look at this gain here. If we were to take this gain here, and remember, we are stating here that we could potentially go to this level here. Let me just move that aside. Round about, let me just type it in because you can't see it, it's too small. We believe that this high point is about 350K. That's the high point. This high point here is about 80,000. Now we're going to talk about a little bit of numbers here, and I don't want to give too much information away, guys. This is hypothetical, okay? My data sees that, but it's still hypothetical. This is not a certainty. Now, these 4 drops from now as we go up, and I'm going to draw that in, within leg 2 to 3, you are going to have 4 moves, like something similar like this, three moves actually, to finish that 5. But for some reason, see there's 1, 2 drops. We are going to have 4 big drops here. And this is one of the reasons, although you know 80,000 is going to happen, fair enough. You can probably cancel your subscription and just simply hold Bitcoin. But guys, what if you can take advantage of these big dips here, where you can sell on the high and buy back on the low? Now, when these big drops are going to happen, they will be substantial and big. Because remember this, as you get to higher numbers, the earthquake gets bigger. As you get to 80K, when there's a drop, the earthquake gets bigger. There's one drop here, guys, that drops Bitcoin. And I'm not going to reveal when, but it drops Bitcoin with $20,000. As crazy as what it sounds. Now you imagine if you, for example, have 80,000 Bitcoin and Bitcoin drops to 20,000. Do you know how much money you make when you sell your Bitcoin at that point and buy low? That is where we're going to make big money. Now you can see here, as I'm going to zoom in, and remember I'm on the weekly chart here now. So this here is your drop. That is your ABC correction. And let's just move that out there and zoom in a little bit. So this is where you see Bitcoin now. Now, remember last week we showed the ABC correction. And I showed this is why Bitcoin not the other altcoins, but only Bitcoin, has already done its ABC correction. There you go. That's your A, your B, and your C. What happens next after an ABC correction? For that, you can probably go to the day chart just to have a little bit more data. What happens now? You take your impulse Elliott wave. That's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, and a 5th wave. That is going to be higher than that one. All it needs to do, it just needs to be higher. And it's probably going to be 14,000. And I'm probably going to give a little bit extra information away. Then you're going to have another little correction. Just something like that, little. Don't forget about the timelines in the bottom here. And then, guys, you are going to have this one here, which is the, remember the Z wave, which is going to be like this. It's going to go maybe up there, something like this, an extended wave that pushes us up to 19, 18, 19 to 20,000. So there's the layout of what it should look like. Now, remember what we said? Let's go back to Bitcoin. And can you see now why the X is already complete? The Y is now going to form. That is that Y that goes up. And remember I said there is your ABC correction, that point there. And then Z is your next one. If I were to draw it down here, it can basically look something similar like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just breaking that 14,000 to about there. Then you get some sort of a B, C correction again. We call this a pattern of advances. So whenever you see in our documentation a POA, it's a pattern of advances. So, and then, as I said, we're going to have the Z leg, which, guys, is the final leg. It's going to come up to that point there, down here, head up there, and that extended wave can take it up to 19,666 to that level there. Now, let's go back to the chart that's more open. Can you guys see there? Something, was it, which one was it now? Where did we have it? There we go. Now that will complete it. And if I put the price label on there, there we go. So this is what we can look forward to, Tertius.
That is amazing, Marius. I was just answering somebody, you know, the guys were asking questions about laddering in, laddering out, and guys were making some recommendations. Guys, I often say to folks, when you're starting off new, watch the market call before the previous top 40 crypto report. Download the top 40 crypto report, print it out, start making notes on it, and then watch every market call after that, as well as the blogs in between and the reports. And then you'll get an idea of the flow and how the dynamics are being dealt with on a week by week basis. So don't you know, you might have been part of another subscription group where you're getting signals saying buy this at this price, sell this at this price, do this, do that. This is not that kind of education and training. So Marius is showing us how to do the analysis, and we are following some of the analysis that he has done on our behalf and taking our decisions based on that. So go back, get that report, print it out, make your notes, and at least from the last top 40 crypto report, so that you get an idea of where this thing is going. If you are, let's say you're trading, maybe not a day trader, but maybe you're trading on a weekly basis, and this move that, you know, where Bitcoin started going down caught you off sides. If you're trading more often, you should have your risk management in place. If you are expecting a drop of 3%, maybe you should sell 10% of your coins. That's up to you. It's your own strategy, which would be totally different from somebody who would be doing 1 or 2 trades a month. So yes, Marius, just quite a bit of discussion on that. Obviously, a lot of new folks, and I think there's a lot of excitement in the group with the information that you've shared.
Yeah, guys.
So
now Yeah, now let's have a look here. You know, this is what I do. Now I'm just using $1,000 figure to make it easy. Now I've already bought $1,000. I'm back into Litecoin because remember I sold you on the top. But even if you have $10,000, for example, now, let's play around and see what you do. You buy now because there's a probability that this could have been the low. There's a big probability that that can be the low at this point here of $71. Okay, so that's why we ladder in. So you buy now at this level. Okay, let's say if I start over, I'm going to buy now. Bang, I buy at $76.72. I buy $1,000. Now I sit and wait. Now let's say the market turns around and it drops. Now I'm watching this drop and I'm watching because in the next 2 hours we're going to have the second day candle in the next 2 hours because I'm on here on the bottom at UTC -4. You can click on that and you can change your date where you are, but I like to trade New York. Okay, you can put it wherever you want, Hong Kong, whatever. Okay, now, so in 2 hours, the next candle is going to start. If that candle turns red, I'll watch it and watch it up. Bang, it comes here right down to that point, and I watch. I'm just patient. I see, it comes here to the bottom and it goes back up. What do? Bang, I buy. I place my next order. It's laddering in your buy. Now, let's take two scenarios now. Now suddenly the market spikes up. It comes Saturday and the market moves up and up and up above that green candle there. Now what am I going to do? Yes, I'm going to move. And bang, I buy in again. Because if it goes above that green one there, the chance of the market then is going to turn around and downwards is very, very little, especially if it comes up to that level there. Let's say if it does drop, because remember we're on the bottom now. It doesn't matter where you really buy. It's immaterial, guys. It is in that block there. It doesn't matter where you buy, but you still want to ladder in. You don't just want to spend all your money. Because remember now, you are thinking the market is going to go up here. And remember, I'm not a day trader. I'm a term trader, a long-term trader. Now let's say two scenarios now again. That Litecoin goes up to this green line here. And there's something that just simply drops it. Now suddenly it drops back, bang, to that level there. Okay, let's leave that now because I bought there. Now let's use a new one. So it comes all the way down here on Saturday and it drops like a big drop. And I'm expecting it will do it. It will have another drop. And when it comes here to this point, wherever you feel comfortable, bang, you buy. See, now you've taken advantage. You had extra money to buy. So you've laddered in and you've got a really nice low price on average now for your Litecoin. Maybe you're averaging about 70. Although you bought there at 79, your average is 70. Now, what if it stabs through and it goes down to this point? Man, you've got leftover cash and you bang, you buy here at 56. You did a great job. You did a fantastic job. Now, let's say the market moves from there and it goes straight up here and you see it move up. All you do, you move that cash aside, you simply hold it. You don't do anything with that cash. You just simply wait. You wait and you wait because it's good to have cash on the side. Guess what happens next? The market goes here, it goes up, bang, bang, bang. Guess what you do? You still got $1,000 on the side. Now you sell. You sell. That's if you want to do it, guys. I'm not saying do day trading. I don't like it. But this is kind of what I do. And I play around with 10, 20, or 30% of my money to do that. Not all the money. Because I've still now, remember, I've still got 70% in the market. I don't care, because I know the market's going to come down and go up again. But now the market comes down again. You don't know exactly where that low is. We know it's in this band of 100 to 85, somewhere in that band. Bang. It comes down, you buy. It goes lower, you buy again. It goes lower, you buy again. You wait. Now you wait. Now the market goes up, goes sideways. It goes up to that high point. You don't buy the high points. Remember I said in Litecoin specifically now, you can have another drop. Now you hold, you don't sell. In that drop, you buy, You buy and bang, you take advantage of that 1,000%. Now, remember, I used $5,000. Your other strategy can be this. You take $5,000, guys. If you have it now, wherever that price is, you buy it. And you simply hold. You hold it through the uptrend. You hold it through that little downtrend. It's not big movements. You hold it up, down. You simply hold, and you go up, and you take advantage of this big spike upwards. So there are two options. You can play around if you are risk adverse, or you can simply buy and hold. For the person that is not risk adverse and maybe new to cryptos, you buy and you hold. This is a typical buy hold situation. If I have time, because sometimes I have time, then I would buy and sell just to play around with it. But you need to be careful. What if you sell here? This is the thing. What if you sell here on the top and the market does a number on us and does something different, and it goes down like this, and it goes sideways and suddenly jumps up here? It can do that as well. Okay, so remember that the market can do anything. A typical example is here. Look at that pink, the purple line. We said that Bitcoin is going to go up. Look what it did. It made a drop. But believe me, it's going to come back very strong. So the XYZ will play out. Tertius, I hope that makes sense a bit.
I think it does, Marius. And I think, with that, there's not very many questions. Guys are referring folks back into the, into back offices, into the previous reports. I think it's been a good night, guys. If there's anybody who's got any questions, either dump them in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask the question, because otherwise that's about it for tonight, I think.
Yeah, Tertius, just one last point, guys. Have a look here at Bitcoin. Remember what I said, that is your first indicator. There's your second good indicator. And this one here, that one there is going to cross over in the next 2 days. A third great indicator. Bitcoin looks good. It's not going to go to zero, in my opinion. It won't. One other thing that you need to watch is this level here of 9180, that red line there. If we come back and we cross this red line and we invalidate, remember the head and shoulders that I showed you? If it comes back and it goes lower than this point here, then we need to be concerned. So I'll be watching that. If that happens, I'll be the first one to post a message on blog posts and say, be careful, take action, or warning, or something like that. I haven't done it yet this year. We've done it last year several times.
There was a question on that, whether sometimes you've said you sold your Ethereum and bought into this. Would you think you'll still be doing that again this year, or did you get a bit of flack about that? Because I know some of the authorities were in contact with you, asking you to guide your training in a specific direction. Somebody did ask, what's the possibility of you tweeting out when you have actually sold, rather than us just finding out a week later that you sold last week.
Yeah, that is true. Tertius, yeah, we do sit with a bit of a problem where, the SEC in America, although we live in Australia, they still have got their finger in the pie in Australia or wherever you are in the world. The SEC, as well as, now think about this, the New York Attorney General, they can reach over the ocean and stop Bitfinex, who is in Hong Kong, the financial free world in Hong Kong. They can stop Bitfinex from doing business. This is their power. So when the SEC are in communication with us, and they're very nice, they're not offensive, they're not draconian, very nice people. You want to rebuild that relationship with them and keep it. When they tell me, listen, be very careful, please don't do this, don't tell people to buy and sell, and limit your exposure of what you do. Because indirect, if you tell people that I've done this, it's still, they're not dumb, guys. They know what we're doing. Guys, I've sold my Ethereum and I moved into Litecoin. They know they regard it as financial advice. So we have to be very careful This is why all our reports now on the top, it says training and education. So what I will do, I'll be very careful with that kind of stuff. On the live webinars, this is why you have to attend these live webinars. I can tell you on the live webinars what I am personally doing, because it's what we do for training and education. I'm telling you what I have done. I'm like a coach training a rugby team. But we can't do that every single day. I can do it to a certain extent. And because they are really nice with us, we want to cherish that relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we follow that, Maurice. Just some questions as well about, every now and then you give us an update about the other financial markets, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ and so on. You mentioned that there's a possibility of it crashing or not crashing this year, maybe next year. I think, perhaps if you've got something prepared, that will be fantastic. Otherwise, perhaps in next week, let's have a look at how these other markets play out as well.
Yeah, let's quickly have a look at that, Tertius. You can see here, guys, that this is almost forming the same principle as what I showed with the inverted head and shoulders. Now, a lot of people are calling, you'll hear this all around the world, they're calling for the world stock markets to collapse. Guys, it's not going to happen. What you are going to see, you are going to see perhaps a bit of a downtrend, but not a big collapse as per se, This could even be as low as about there. Now, it could be that it actually breaks the structure of an inverted head and shoulders, and then that it actually comes down. And then when it comes down, it would actually form this pattern here, something similar to that. And it comes down to this point here of about 20,000 Dow. So at this point, I am willing to put my head on 20,000 Dow. That is where we are going to. But first, a bit of an uptrend. It could happen here a little bit later, but do expect maybe a 20,000 Dow. But look what happens after that. Guys, it moves it back up again. And we believe it's going to go to 38 to 40,000 Dow. This is not anything that you have ever seen. Now remember this, I get this data from my algorithm. If I do technical analysis on the Dow Jones, it shows me that the Dow Jones actually breaks down and comes down to this level here, but it breaks below that, and it goes actually just a little bit below. It was about 6.4, somewhere around there. It's quickly too, like this. Somewhere it was about 6.4. I remember that we did. But this is technical analysis, and this is why when you look at the YouTube videos, everybody tells you the world stock markets is going to drop. Guys, it won't drop. There's too much money in the world. Think about this now. There are governments all around the world now, like Australia, South Africa, even South Africa. What they do, they start up their printing press, the Federal Reserve, and they print more money. Now think about this. In 2008, there were only 2 countries in the world that did it. It was Japan and America. Then suddenly came on board England. After that, a year or 2 later, then suddenly China, then suddenly Russia, and then suddenly South Africa. And then suddenly now, 10 years later, all countries around the world, even the Swiss, they can print more money. So there's an overabundance of money, although money has weakened. This is why gold, guys, are moving up. If you look at gold, here is our gold analysis, and you can see if I zoom in now, it's actually broken this channel here. Remember last week we said that it's going to break this channel. Let me just move that out. And it's broken that channel. What's coming next, guys, is this. It's going to go up to $1,827 before it has a drop. This coincides with the Bitcoin move. It coincides with the silver move to $20. It coincides with Bitcoin going to 20,000, and then see that little bit of a drop, and then up again 22,000, 80,000 Bitcoin, and somewhere around here 20,000. Sorry, 350,000 Bitcoin. Can you see that this high point here is here in February? Now this may be extended. It may be extended like I showed you here for. I don't want to go into details there now, Tertius, but it'll take me a lot of time here. But see here around about June, July. Remember I said that year in July is going to be the high point for Bitcoin and then it drops. Gold will drop first before Bitcoin drops. Because gold is like the little brother that runs behind gold. And sorry? Oh, 5 minutes. And then quickly get into silver. You can see that silver is moving nicely. It's going to break. Let's just quickly put this indicator on. You can see here, there's a thing called visible range. So if you put your visible range on, let's just see if that populates. I'm not sure if that's going to populate here, but maybe we've just got a slow internet here. Okay. Anyway, there's very little resistance. If it breaks through this level here of $20, guys, it's going to shoot up here very, very quickly to $30 and $40. And we see perhaps there's a good chance that silver could hit 3 digits the same time that Litecoin goes to 3,000, 24 December 2019. A nice Christmas gift. So if you hold silver, now don't go out and buy thousands of dollars of silver, guys, because remember, it's better to put your money in Litecoin and Bitcoin. You're going to make more money. But as an assurance, and not financial advice, and as insurance, you buy silver and gold. So Tertius, I hope this helps. We need to...
Absolutely. Morris, I think that's excellent. Thank you very much, guys. We're going to release you. I know you've got another call coming up. Thank you very much for keeping us updated. And as always, if something drastic happens, we're looking forward to hearing from you on the blogs. Thanks, guys. Awesome evening. Thanks for everyone for attending.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. For you too.
Thank you.